About 25 years ago, when I was learning in Pseik Yeshiva, one Friday I had to go back to Yeshiva from Brooklyn with public transportation. I took the train to Manhattan, I got to Port Authority, and then I boarded the New Jersey Transit bus, Pseik, New Jersey. That trip usually took 45 minutes, but on that particular Friday, there was a lot of traffic and the trip took a couple of hours. Thank Hashem that I made it back in time to Yeshiva before Shabbos, but just barely. As the bus turned onto Main Street 15 minutes before Shabbos, I started making my way through the crowded bus to the front so I should be able to get off right away. As the bus pulled into my stop, I noticed the woman standing behind me was also getting ready to get off the bus. So I turned to her and I apologized. And I said, I did not realize that you were also getting off the bus. I would have never gone in front of you had I known. And with a wave of her hand, she smiled and said, go ahead. I got off the bus and I got ready to run across the street. Now you have to understand, Main Street in Pseik is a narrow street. There's only one lane in each direction and there's no room for parking. As I was about to cross the street, I looked to the right and saw the road was clear. I started running across the street. All of a sudden, I slammed into something, and I had no idea what hit me. When my bearings came back to me, I realized that I had slammed into the side of a 15-passenger van that had passed the bus illegally. And I said, thank you, Hashem. If I would have gotten off the bus 1 or 2 seconds earlier, I would have been lying under the van right now. And then it hit me. The reason I did not get off the bus a second or two earlier was because I stopped to apologize to the woman behind me. Now, I did not do any heroic act. All I did was something very small that any person would have done. Yet that seemingly very small thing saved me from tragedy. In this week's Torah reading, the Torah teaches us the laws of Negoyim, spiritual leprosy. If a person gets a white spot on his skin, he has to show it to the kohen, to the priest. And the priest locks him up in seclusion for 7 days. And after 7 days, he checks it. If it got bigger, then the person is rendered impure. Now, the Torah also teaches us another law. If the white spot spreads over the person's entire body and he's covered with this leprosy from head to toe, then he is pure. Now, this seems like a contradiction. If the leprosy renders the person impure when it gets bigger, so why is it that when the leprosy gets so big that it covers the person's entire body from head to toe, why is he tahar? Why is he pure? Our Rebbe, Rabbi Chaim A, explains that the Torah is alluding to a very important concept in Judaism. It's not possible for a Jew to be totally evil. Like the Talmud says, Afilu Paishe Yisrael Maleya Mitzvahs Karimayin. Even the Jewish sinners are full of good deeds like the seeds of a pomegranate. Because in Hashem's eyes, every single good deed that a person does, no matter how small and insignificant it seems to us, Hashem loves it and Hashem treasures it. Saras, leprosy, is a sign of impurity. If a person gets completely covered with leprosy from head to toe, it can't mean that he's completely impure, as we just explained. So the Torah says he's tahar, he's pure. There's a misconception that many people have about Judaism. They think it's either all or nothing. They think, if I'm not ready to keep Shabbos in its entirety, I'm not going to do anything. And that's completely false. If a person does one thing on Shabbos to honor Shabbos, if a person holds himself back one time from turning on a light switch, if a person is not ready to keep kosher completely, but every day or once a week he does something to make sure he eats something kosher that day, that means the world to Hashem. If a person is not ready to study Torah all the time, but he takes a TorahMate to study Torah once a week for a few minutes, to Hashem that means everything. Just like one small apology saved me from tragedy, we have to realize and remember that every good deed we do, no matter how small and insignificant we think it is, Hashem loves it, Hashem treasures it, and to Hashem it means the world. Have a wonderful Shabbos.